Hey, what's going on everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the top 10 Ashes of War, in my honest opinion, and of course it's in no order. We are first going to start off at number 1, and this is going to be the Ground Slam. You can find this over at the Third Church America, and we want to head towards the southwest. Eventually you will come across an Erdtree and you will see a Silver Scarab. If you take out the Silver Scarab, you will then be rewarded with Ground Slam. The reason why this is so amazing is because if you grab this at the start of the game, you can head towards a Crystallian or the two twin Crystallians over at Academy of Raya Lucaria, and you can actually take out the two twin Crystallians and acquire an item that way, or you can head over here towards the one Crystallian right at the start of the game and you can take him out and acquire a Bell Bearing. I highly recommend this for new players because of that reason. This is why it's included in the top 10 because of how useful it is early game. You can tell that this is destroying the Crystallian quite easily, and yeah, just try it out if you have not. It's a really fun Ashes of War and it does a great job on normal enemies as well. I just thought I would include it because of how useful it is for beginning players. If you go all the way towards the top, you can pick up this spell as well. Continuing on towards number 2, we are going to talk about the Frost Stomp. Now I know, the Ashes of War is not named that exactly, yet I'm not even going to come close to saying the first part of the Ashes because I just feel like the captions there or the subtitles are just going to say that I'm saying something completely different, which I'm just not even going to head in that general way, that general word, but you guys can use your imagination. But anyways, head over here towards the manor and we are going to head towards the east. What you should see in the distance here is going to be this invisible scarab. If you take out the invisible scarab, you will be rewarded with the Frost Stomp and you can then use this. Now what's so great about this is that it can be useful for a large group of enemies, and not only that, if you are being chased down by a bigger fella, the Frost Stomp is quite useful and it will come in hand when it does come down to those situations. Once we have this, we now want to go towards a Lost Grace and equip the Ashes of War to one of our weapons. I am now going to show you how useful this really is. So right here, I'm going to take a little bit of damage so that I can then show you how good this is in critical moments. So right here, I'm going to then throw down the Frost Stomp. What this will do is apply that frozen debuff, and then eventually you will see the health bar deplete down. This is really useful, especially in situations like that where the boss may attack. We are going to start off at number 3, and this is going to be Golden Vow. You can find this over here near the Storm Hill, which is going to be located exactly near the War Master Shack. We are going to travel towards the northwest and then eventually go towards the east. You should see in the distance, once you have traveled far enough, there will be a fellow on top of his mount. Once you have taken out both, you will then be rewarded the Golden Vow. If you did not know, this is not just a spell, it actually is an Ashes of War that's extremely useful if you do not have a high intelligence. And if you're curious as to how difficult this fella is, not too bad, to be honest. If you have something that can knock him off of his mount, that will be better. Or if you have to fight him straight on with his mount, then that may be a possibility. But once you take him out, you should see that he drops the Ashes of War, Golden Vow. We can then head over towards a Lost Grace, equip that, and what we can do is basically use the Ashes of War, then swap over towards a different weapon, and we can head towards the boss. What this does is buff our defense and our attack power. This can be extremely useful if you are in situations where the boss needs a little bit extra damage for you to finish the job, and that may be the case. I highly recommend using this with other talismans. Of course, you can use this with something maybe like Shard of Alexander to increase your charge skill if you're, of course, are using something with a skill. And yeah, man, try it out. And not to mention, it is useful by itself. So if you do not have another weapon equipped, just use the one that you have currently. Let's now talk about number 4. This is going to be the Arcane Retaliation. This Ashes of War is extremely useful in situations where you may have someone like those mages or the sorcerers that cast their spells at you, and it's quite annoying. There is a great way to block this out, and if you head over here towards the Three Sisters, Follow the left side, drop down to each platform. You should see a hole in the roof there or an opening. You can then go through, interact with this vendor, go through the dialogue, click purchase, and then if you go towards the bottom here, you can then purchase the Ashes. There's also the black shield that you can equip the Retaliation to. If you block out a spell like so, this will then pop up the swords, and it's amazing for taking out the sorcerers over here because, again, they can be quite annoying just because of how, you know, when they cast down their spells constantly, just spamming it like a wild man. Yeah, it's annoying. I will say that it's not just useful for enemies in general because you can use this on bosses. Yeah, if you're going against Melkith the Black Blade and he casts down the blade that literally drains your health bar, just dodge it. And some of you might be better at this than I am, so yeah. Number 5, we are going to take a look at a skill / Ashes of War that is applied to the Envoy's Great Horn. The reason why I'm bringing this one up specifically is because in the latest patch, they have buffed this by quite a lot with its regeneration speed, so it's extremely useful when you use the Ashes of War. You can send this down pretty quick and it will shoot people off the map like so. The only way to acquire this is if you take out an enemy, and only then there is a chance for it to drop. So you may need to farm this. And I may have not mentioned it already, but you need to take out the bigger guys here because there are 3 different versions. There's the small, the medium, and this is the largest one out of all of them. Once you have taken them out, there is a chance again for it dropping the Envoy's Great Horn. And if you have it, awesome, congratulations. Let's now talk about how useful it is. If you have a chance, try to use this against an invader. It's quite hilarious because it can take them out easily, as well as if you have the Holy Scorpion Charm. That's definitely worth using because it will boost your attack power. Number 6, we want to head over here towards the festival, take out Radon, and then grab his remembrance and head over towards the round table, take it towards the fingers, and then make sure that you turn it into a sword. Nothing else. What's interesting is that in the recent patch 1.09, they have increased the follow-up attacks with Radon's Ashes of War, aka Starkiller, or skill, whichever one you want to call it. This is phenomenal because it does give the weapon more potential. Now, I'm not saying it was bad before because that would be a lie. It was absolutely amazing. It's just now it's been buffed to a point where you have those follow-up attacks. Number 7, we are going to talk about the Death Ritual Spear. In the recent patch, this is another weapon that was buffed, specifically the Ashes of War, aka skill. Even in their patch notes, they claim it as Ashes of War. I know it could be considered a skill or ashes, but we're just talking about it all in general. Once you take out this enemy over here near Castle Soul, you will be rewarded with this. Now, with the attack generation speed, this is insane. Now, I'll be honest, typically I do not describe anything being insane, but this right here is insane. I was able to take out quite a few enemies without doing anything, and on top of that, the FP cost to use this is not a lot. You can tell at the top left, I'm not using much of my FP, which is really amazing because this gives me the opportunity to really just spam this if I'm being attacked by a lot of enemies, and that might be the case in some situations. Number 8, we are going to talk about I Command the Nil, and this is on Axe of Godric. This Ashes and skill is quite amazing because this has been increased as well in the recent patch, and if you guessed it, you might be right because this has increased the attack regeneration speed. Again, this is another weapon that was buffed in patch 1.09. I'm not too sure how well this is in PvP as of right now, yet I assume if you are ganged up by 3 individuals, yeah, you might end up wanting to use this. Or if you're ganged up in PvE like this, it's definitely useful. Number 9, we are now going to talk about Gravitas. This Ashes of War is amazing because 1, it can be found early game, and 2, it can be found right over here at Seaside Ruins, which is close towards the first step. And this specific Ashes of War can suck enemies towards you, and it's great for damage. If you head towards the left here, take the lift down, and you will land safely. You should see in the northwest that there's going to be this fella right here. Take him out, and then pick up the weapon. Do not be afraid to teabag him. I definitely had to. It was right there, and you know what? You might as well throw it in. So get that teabag in. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so about the gravitas. Yeah, they're great. It's amazing for taking out a group of enemies like so, and you can sort of walk with it if you click it and then go forward and tap the Ashes of War again. L2 if you're on console, or V if you're on PC, and yeah, amazing. And last but not least, number 10, this is going to be the Carian Great Sword. I'm not a huge fan of this. This is why I'm just kind of sticking it at number 10. I did say it's not in any order, but if I had to place this, I'd say this is my least favorite, but it's definitely worth using. You can find this pretty much over here at Stormveil Castle, yet if you've defeated Godric, he will be over here. Now, if you've completed this quest, you will need to turn in his bearing in order to purchase it from the twins. And of course, the reason why I do not like it is because I probably don't have a good build for this. A lot of people enjoy this. I personally am not a huge fan of it, yet you might enjoy this a lot more than I. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you have not subscribed, do that now. Click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon, go all the way up, and click the notify for all. Man, my mouth sounds all jumbled up right now, but yeah, enjoy the video, guys. Hope you have a solid day out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.